What's up, ladies and gentlemen? YouTube, Facebook. This is Javi here, and I just came back from seeing Dredd 3D. And this is actually, I believe this is the final week that the movie is going to be out here in New York City. So I wanted to see it before it was out of theaters, and since I've heard some really good things about it. And I definitely think that it lives up to the very good reviews that it has been getting. It's a action-packed movie. It's a really, really, really good action-packed movie. This is basically this is not a film for the squeamish. If you are into movies like Machete and The Expendables, you will definitely like Dredd. It's very, very hardcore action. It's unapologetic about it. This is basically Dredd the way Dredd is supposed to be. For those who don't know, Dredd was originally a British comic book series from the 1970s, and most Americans know it through the uh, very cheesy and, I mean, guilty pleasure. I mean, for me, it's a guilty pleasure movie. I basically enjoy it because I like poking fun of it. uh, Sylvester Stallone movie, which is called Judge Dredd, but it's not very loyal to the actual Judge Dredd comic book character. Um, this movie is extremely, extremely loyal to that character. Carl Urban just does such a great job in the lead role of Dredd. We also have his sidekick, Anderson, and she is a rookie. And she's her and Dredd are so much better than Dredd and Hershey from the 1995 movie. Anderson actually comes off as someone who's an actual rookie. She's new to all of this. She's young. She's idealistic. She's extremely hesitant when it comes to executing people and carrying out what needs to be carried out, whereas Dredd is just completely stone cold. He's a stone cold executioner that will gun you down without a blink of an eye, which is exactly the way the character is supposed to be. He also never takes off his helmet, which is also the way the character is supposed to be. In the comic book, he never takes off his helmet. Well, that's not true. He actually does take off his helmet in the comic, but his face is always censored whenever he takes off his helmet. And here there actually is like one scene where we do see Dredd like put on his helmet, but his face is completely in the shadows, so you never actually see his entire face, which is exactly the way the comic book is. So this movie basically captured the character from the comic book perfectly. I thought that Dredd and Anderson's relationship was so much better. It came off much more as a teacher mentor relationship, and Anderson played the role of was the role of the rookie so much better. I would say the actress's name, but I can't remember it at the moment. I think the actress's first name was Olivia. I can't remember for the life of me what her last name was. Sorry. But yeah, she was just so much better. The action was, like I said, this is like Machete and Expendable levels of action. It was completely hardcore. The 3D was pretty good. I think that one gripe I do have with this movie was that while there definitely were some things that did look really cool in 3D, I see no justification for this movie to to have been released in only 3D, and I think that's probably part of the reason that this movie just did not do well because there were no 2D releases of this film. I think that if there had been more 2D releases, this film just might have performed a bit better. But you're releasing it only in 3D, and you're asking people to pay like $15 per ticket. That's a lot. So they pretty much killed the movie there, and I saw no justification for it to be released in only 3D. I mean, like I said, there were some shots that in 3D just looked awesome, especially, the action scenes. But I think that they would have looked just as awesome in 2D, and I see no justification for this having been just a solely 3D release film. But that's what ended up happening, and I had to pay 14 bucks because I caught a matinee show and it was still like $14. But the film itself is just perfect. The action is perfect. I think that one thing that the 1995 movie might have had over this one was that the look of Mega City 1 was much more grittier, dirtier, much more compact. And it looked like a city that would probably be like extremely violent and just extremely crime ridden. That is one thing that the 1995 movie does have over this movie. This movie, Mega City 1, I mean, it looks like a contemporary city. There's nothing very futuristic about it. The outside, of the city doesn't look very gritty. You see, like, you see people out, you see kids out skateboarding. You know, um, it doesn't really have it. I don't think it really captured, just the dirty, gritty feel that the 1995 Mega City One had. But, or no, no, it doesn't carry the dirty, gritty look that the 1995 movie had. But in terms of feel, in terms of atmosphere, this Mega City One was so much more violent, grittier. I mean, we're not taken through much of Mega City 1. The action is mostly taking place inside a single building, but once that building is locked down, everything just goes on ultra violent. It's violence, violence, violence everywhere. The people are violent. What they do to each other is like really hardcore. So while, the city itself might have the look of like, let's say, like contemporary New York or contemporary Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, the city reminded me more of Los Angeles than it did New York, which is interesting because Mega City One is supposed to be New York City, but I kept thinking of Los Angeles when I saw it. But the people acted so much more violently, and and the criminal element was so much more dangerous. So, just the need for judges in this world is so much more greater, and it's so much more um, understandable. And yeah, I would, in a world like that, give the judges, the power of judge, jury, and executioner, because people were just violent. Violent of the point of being like outright sadistic. And Mama, played by Leanna Hadley, she's best known as Sarah Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. She was also the Spartan Queen in another one of my favorite movies, which is the movie 300. Yes, along with Machete and Expendables. That's another personal favorite film of mine. And she was just an awesome bad guy. She was an improvement over Rico in every single way. Where Rico was this really over the top cheesy sociopath, she was a genuine sociopath. She wasn't over the top about it. She wasn't cheesy about it. She was more like a realistic sociopathic villain. I would basically compare her to Top Dollar from The Crow. As a matter of fact, I would have to say that this movie's entire, from its style, its grittiness, and its violence, it resembles the Crow. It's basically made in that sort of style. The only major difference from the Crow is that it doesn't have the gothic look and feel that the Crow has. But in terms of grittiness and violence and the way the villains are portrayed, it's right there next to that movie. And it's just, no hold bars, nonstop action. And I really don't have, aside from it not looking as dirty and much more, and not as futuristic as the 1995 movie, I have no complaints regarding his film. And one thing that I would like to actually add was that in this movie, unlike the first movie, there's a scene in the 1995 movie where Judge Fargo asked Dredd if he would teach a class to the cadets, and Dredd says that he would be honored. And one of the potential classes he lists off is unarmed combat. And then when they actually do unarmed combat in the actual movie, when Dredd fights Trico, and Hershey fights the Asian scientist, everybody's just basically brawling. They're just tossing punches at each other. There's no signs of any hand-to-hand combat training. This movie, the judges are actually depicted as having hand-to-hand combat training. Hence, in this movie, I could actually see Dredd teaching, of course, in unarmed combat. Also, in terms of story, this is not really Dredd's story. Dredd is just Dredd doing his thing, kicking ass, taking names. This is really Anderson's story, and it's Anderson's arc going from a young, idealistic rookie who's actually extremely hesitant to execute people to becoming a full-on judge, just like Dredd. And it's not even Dredd who does it. Dredd is just Dredd doing his thing. And it's the environment. It's Anderson being put in this violent environment where everyone's uh, attempting to kill her, and it's either do or die. And that's the reality that she has to face, and it's just handled so well. So, like I said, this is a great movie, very very underrated, and if you get a chance to see it, please see it. Like I said, it's not going to be in theaters here in New York as of Friday, so you'll probably, if you haven't seen it and you're not going to be able to make it to the movies by Friday, or if it's still playing in the theater in your town or country, please go see it. Go check it out. It is a great movie. It's an action-packed movie, but you really have to be into that type of action. But hopefully this film will gain a following when it gets to DVD. I certainly hope so, because I think it really deserves it. And I'm about to hit the 15-minute mark here, so that's my review of Dredd 3D. And this is Javi here, signing out.